Hello everyone, this is Senova.
And this is Johannes.
And you're watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Undaunted 2200 Callisto, a game designed by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin.
You can play it solo with 2 or 4 players and it plays in 45 to 60 minutes.
Undaunted is a very popular gaming series. We have not dived deep into it.
No.
We played the first one.
Yes.
We enjoyed that, but we didn't end up keeping it. You can go way back to 2021 and see or keep our call episode talking about that. We are not usually playing a lot of the 1 versus 1, and especially like there's dice rolling, there's war games, but we enjoyed Undaunted. So when we got the ability to buy this at Gen Con, I was like, let's see where this has headed. Let's see how this is now. So this is not going to be like a review of this from somebody who have played the game a lot and now they know the system in and out, just so you know that before going in. It is going to be like our experiences with this, and we remember some stuff about the other games as well. So we're going to talk about a bit of the changes and how we feel about them more as newer players than veteran players, basically.
Yeah.
Briefly, I'm going to tell you what you're doing in this game. There is a sci-fi setting. I'm not going to go much into the story. So if you want to explore it, like there's not a campaign, you can play it as a campaign if you want to, but you can also just play scenarios as you please. There are like a story involving story throughout the campaign, but it's more like a setting for different scenarios, more than this is not a story-driven game. But we are in a place where this corporation has basically done things that the miners don't like, and the miners are revolting, trying to get back on the big corporation. So the corporation does what the corporation knows best, sends in the Mechs. These probably don't look that good on here, so I'm going to show them to you as well, because from the top they probably just look like nothing, but there are like these standees for the Mechs. This is the first change that you will see from this game. There are standees and not only these counters. So what you're going to do is that this is a deck building game. You're going to start with a deck which has some of these cards for the characters that you have on the board. You're going to buy more cards. Depending on the scenario, you might buy cards for units that are not on the table yet. So when you play them, you will add more units to the board. Every round, you're going to draw 4 cards. You are going to discard one of them for the initiative. The player who has the highest number for initiative is going to go first. Then you're going to play your other 3 cards. You're going to use these cards to move your enemies, or move your, not your enemies, you're not going to move your enemies. Move your units, that was the word I was looking for. You will attack by rolling dice, seeing if you get a high enough number to beat the shield value, depending on how far away you are from the unit. You will do different missions, like some missions are all about getting these command or getting the control over these points, like special points in the terrain. Others will be about different things. I'm not going to go into spoilers of that if you want to like explore and get through the different scenarios and see, oh, now there's a new way to win, now there's a new thing to do. But that is basically what you're going to do. You're going to continue doing that. And the cool part I think about this system is this is also the health of your units. So whenever somebody attacks you and you get a hit on the Ripper, the yellow player has to discard a Ripper card out of the game. If they don't have more Ripper cards, the Ripper then gets neutralized and goes out of the game with all the cards that might be left in the supply. And that is basically a way to get those out. You can suppress the units to basically take them out. So next time you play the card of the same unit, you just flip them back. There's many different tricks you can do, but that is basically the base overview of what you do in the game. Let's take a look at the components and the things you can see with your eyes.
The artwork and components is really solid in this game. It has these gritty sci-fi artwork.
Yes.
I think the maps, not only are they like good double-sided boards with good quality, but I think it's easy to spot the things that are here. There is enough space for not all of your units, but many things.
Yes.
And also, I like the artwork on the cards as well.
Yeah, you have to like the dark science fiction, like everything like is black. Black is the main color Oh, like if you look at all these cards, like black is the main color palette of the game.
And most of the maps for each scenario, there's a different map. It looks kind of like this.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, now we're in a cozy forest, which suddenly looks totally different. No, it doesn't.
I really like what the mechs add to like the elevation of the game. The only thing is like some placement of it can make it harder to see other things. If this was over here, I could be, and you like suddenly move this, like, oh, I didn't know that was there. So just like when you play it, make sure that you place things so they are in the back and you will be able to place things. So it's when it was only the counters, like it's super simple to see.
Yeah.
With these it adds, but I think it's worth it because I like these feels more threatening, more hovering over there.
Yes.
And make them feel like more powerful enemy to the breakers that come in with their tiny little things trying to do this revolution of the corporation. So I feel like it adds to the theme kind of more than it adds to the gameplay. There is, and it's not a change. We're going to probably do some of the changes throughout the video. In Undaunted, there's tiles and you set up a map. So it takes a little while to set up the map. Here you don't get that. You get 4 double-sided of these boards. So you have 4 huge, like normally sized boards. I love that they've done this. So it's easier to grab them out from the box because these are going to be at the top of your box. So if they were like full boards, it would be harder to grab them. This is like just a simple way to go in and grab that board. Some boards I wouldn't have liked it, but here with like it, because you also have the edges over here, it doesn't feel like, oh, it should have been a square board. Probably it raises the price of the game a bit because you get 4 actual game boards in it. In other games, you will like get a board and like an expansion for a board, but here like get 4 of them. It wouldn't make sense otherwise because you need them for the different scenarios. But I really like that. I just know that it makes the game a little bit more expensive. But I will say it's worth it because it's way simpler to set up the game the way it is now. Okay.
The game also has a rulebook.
It does. It's a pretty small rulebook because the base of this game is not very complicated. I also like the fact that throughout the rulebook there's this symbol which you can just skip when you learn the rules because those are not things that are not in the first scenarios. And whenever you read in the scenario book and you get to a page where it says like, this is new in this scenario, now you can read this. So it also makes it so that you don't have to play the scenarios in order, but especially if you are new to the Undaunted, or if you are already a veteran, you know you're going to play the whole thing, probably play the campaign because you get like a few different added things. We didn't do that because we didn't get to play all of them. But then you can like easily go, oh, now there's a door I have to open. How does that work? Go to this page and you can read about that thing. There is not that many actions, not that complicated. And I really like the simplicity of the line of sight, the simplicity of all of the things you do in the game, which makes it a pretty straightforward system to get into, but also has a lot of depth. So I think the rulebook is very good and the scenario book is very good. 2 mechs up in the air.
I agree. It's no player aid in this game. You only kind of need it for the first scenario because it's pretty simple, but the first scenario I would like to have one.
Yes.
But if you're... I don't remember much from the original Undaunted. Oh, you have... Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so it's a quick reference. It's a 2-player quick reference, so you don't have like a full player, but you have what all the actions do. So it's pretty...
That's
simple
what I need. Yeah, perfect. So I feel like as like a newbie to Undaunted in itself, it was minimal of rules checking from the second scenario on.
Absolutely. We played a game, 2 people, and it took about...
Time.
Yes, an hour.
An hour.
Yes, that is the time it took. About an hour for each scenario, even though we play like the simplest and the more complicated, around an hour to complete the scenario. You can also play this as a 4-player game. I think it would work actually pretty well. So in the game, you have like a squad A and squad 2.
Yeah.
So if we played on a team, you would be 1 and I would be 2.
Oh, that would be cool.
So you're basically like, you have to talk, but I have my own cards, you have your own cards, and you play it that way. So I think actually that would work well.
I want to do that now.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fun. And also to note it, because like many people are looking for it, and the solo has a huge book which goes through all of the scenarios and all of how they works and like all the things you need for the bots and everything for the different scenarios. If you choose to play versus the Breakers, or if you choose to play versus the LFA, sorry, you will have different rules, and all of this is in one book, which is pretty nice. Also, this is the first time, because Undaunted has team modes, it has solo. This is the first time Undaunted games comes with both the 2-player solo and the team in the same box. So that is pretty nice as well. Let's talk about the game. We have already talked about the game a bit, but let's talk more about the game. Sunniva, what kind of game is this, if people haven't understood already?
This is a skirmish wargame with deck building.
Yes, that is it.
So it talks a little to my Eurogamer heart.
Yes, it has that little, oh, it's a war game, is this? It's dice.
But it has deck building
in it. I think that was what drew me into it the first time as well. We played Undaunted. And I think that is like my favorite part of the game.
Yes.
The balancing of, and I think that's where you will be better at the game.
Yes.
Because we are super bad at the game, so whenever we play, like there's an action where you can take a card and remove it from your deck. I was like, why would I ever do that? But I was like, okay, but if I have these units and I really need them to move more, I need to get more of those in the deck and try to maybe take some other out of the deck so I can get those faster. But then it's very much easier for you to kill that person. So it's a back and forth of trying to not have a super thick deck, but also not making the different units too simple to attack.
Yeah, it feels really fresh in a way, because it's not deck building like you've seen it in other games, because you have these two, as you said, functions. It's on both the health points of your units, but it's also the actions. And mostly the thing that you want to stay alive is something that you want to do something with.
Yes.
But I found that balance a little hard sometimes.
Yes, it is. And this is one that, like, I know if we were to play this a lot, you would get better at it.
Yeah.
Even though it has luck and it's tactical. Because you will be in situations where, like, oh, I really want that card to come out. Oh, it didn't come out. But then again, you want to build your deck so that it's a higher probability of the cards you want to come up comes up in your deck.
And I think it's cool because like the mechs can be quite powerful, but they have less cards available to them. And also one LFA unit is the Stalker. It has only like 2 cards in total. So they have very few health points, and you can, if you have a thick deck, not do much with them, but when they do stuff, they're really good.
Yes, another change we're doing them throughout the video is that these mechs are unique in the way that they have 3 different cards that controls the same unit.
Yes.
So you're gonna have the commander, is that's the name of it. So you have the commander here for Artemis, who can move, bolster, which means get more cards, attack, and suppress, which is the easier one where you just flip it. But it also have a gunner, which is better at attacking and suppressing. Like it actually is the same, attack and suppress.
Yes.
And then you also have the navigator, which then you can scout, also do the recon action, which makes you get rid of this bad interference card that just like clunks up your deck. So there's like, you can build those differently as well, which is interesting and adds more to that. The breakers also have a couple of mechs that you will use in some scenarios. If you watch our channel, you might be like, why are you reviewing a war game? Because like it's Euro adjacent, but it's still like it's a tactical game and there's a lot of dice rolling. How do you feel about that in this game?
It's absolutely a prison factor in the game, because like to do stuff, a lot of stuff, because a lot of the stuff you want to do is to defeat the other player.
Yes.
You need dice to do that, but you can set yourself up in positions where your probability to successfully manage an attack is high or low. So it is possibilities to mitigate the luck, and that really helps for me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. One thing which is also new is elevation. So in this game, you're going to have 3 different dice. You're going to have 8-sided dice, you're going to have 10-sided and 12-sided, depending on where you are and depending on where your unit you're attacking. Let's just put this over here so you can actually move there. Artemis is up here, which is an elevated spot, and wants to attack this Ripper. Because Artemis is now in a higher elevation than the Ripper, they get to roll the 12-sided die.
Yeah, because these are the standard.
Yes.
So if the Corpsec wanted to attack the Ripper, I would use these.
Yes.
But now the Artemis gets to use these.
And if you, the other way around, if you attack something that's higher than you, it's harder to attack them, so you get the dumber, the worse die. Another change is, again, I think mostly also because you have different dice, but in Undaunted, if you roll a 10, that's a hit no matter what. So no matter how far away you are from a unit, if you attack with a 10, you automatically hit. That is taken away here, so you have to like get closer. You can't just stand there and hope your luck that you win.
I kind of like that in this game because some scenarios you feel like, couldn't I just like be here and just like shoot at the other player from a distance? But then you're just like, oh, I have a 10-sided die. I need 10 to. I can't really reach them at all. So that really incentivizes going closer and exploring the map or doing the other things that aren't just defeat the other guy.
Yes, another change we're not going to go deeply into, but just want to note is that in the different maps, there's going to be buildings, there's going to be equipment you can interact with, there's going to be locked doors, there's going to be civilians in different ways. So there's like many different new aspects to interact with in the game as well. So, what is the weight of this game and who do you think it's for?
It's not a rules-heavy game.
Nope.
It's quite easy to get into but it's a lot to think about, and I think it's not very easy to master.
I would call it a medium game. It's a medium game. It's a pretty straightforward, but you have to play it a bit to get into the flow and get into how it works. You have to, of course, kind of like war games, but you don't. Like, I don't usually like a lot of war games. Haven't played a lot of war games, but
That's true.
I enjoy this. Spoiler alert! I really like this game, but you have to be okay, obviously. Like, you're not gonna buy this game and hate luck, even though I do. But it's okay here because it's the game. That's kind of the thing for me. Like, if this was a big Euro game and I was like, oh, you could get wood now, no wood for you. I would like that, but here it's part of the tension, part of the. And it makes sense, like it's a thematic. I'm running over there, you're far away, I'm trying to hit you. Oh yes, I did or I didn't. And some enemies or I'm better, just have one dice, some have two, some have more. There's different ways to manipulate it. Oh, I will be up here. I'm going to be easier to shoot you now because you are down here in the dumps. I'm seeing you easier.
Down in the dumps.
All of that is very thematically and makes the dice rolling feel like more of an epic thing than a luck-based thing for me. And of course, like, this is the sci-fi theme, so if you love the history theme, you might still want to go and check out some of the Undaunted history-based one, but if you always look for a sci-fi theme of Undaunted, here you have it. It's sci-fi, it's dark and gritty. You're gonna like it, probably. If you like Undaunted, you're gonna like this. If you didn't just love it for the history theme, if you like Undaunted, you will like this game. But let's do some final thoughts. Before we do that, if you are new to our channel and you enjoy what you've seen today, you might want to see more of our videos because we are doing a lot of them from now and until the end of the year because Spiel is also right around the corner. There's going to be a lot of videos. So if you do like us, you can help us in a way that probably doesn't mean too much to you, but means a lot to us by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell button and get notifications every time we post a new video.
So, final thoughts time. Go!
I really like Undaunted. I liked it. We don't have it anymore because it's not my style of game.
Yes.
And it still isn't.
Nope.
Now that you talked about the team mode, I'm just like,
Want to try that?
I want to try that also, and I really had fun playing it. I would not mind playing like the rest of the scenarios that we haven't played. I also wouldn't mind like switch up to get to more like both sides. But I see a lot of replayability in this.
Yes.
And also like trying to, because each scenario has like two, or the ones we've played, there's two ways that each player can win. Maybe I should try to going for like the other thing that I didn't try to see how easy that is to achieve. And so I'm just like, it's really good, but it's a war game.
Yes.
So it's kind of the feeling that I had with Undaunted to begin with. I think it's a great game, but it's not my type of game. So I'm gonna give it an 8, but I'm unsure if I want to keep it.
Yes. Rather Bat is an 8 for me as well. I enjoyed my time with it. I agree with you. Like, it's kind of, I might want to keep it because, like, we only have one other game like this in the collection. It's a Memoir 44, which I think is like a lighter experience.
Yes.
And kind of now I'm like, oh, but I kind of want to keep this. I am unsure, but that's not like the fun thought. It's not like keep our call, this isn't it. I liked my time playing it. I never felt that, oh no, it was good every time you hit, and it was like, every time you lost, but it wasn't a horrible feeling because it's so much a part of the game. I enjoy the deck building very much. I enjoy the tactical fare of it, trying to do like working towards both missions. Maybe I'm trying to attack you while also sneaking over here to try to do the mission thing. And all of these things together makes it a very good game. If you, as I said, if you like Undaunted and you're looking forward to this, you are going to like it. I don't see how you couldn't. If you haven't played Undaunted and like sci-fi is more your thing, then you might want to check this out. If history is more your thing, there's other ways to check that out. And that is going to be end of this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.